An abortion clinic worker with a special heritage is called upon to save the existence of humanity from being negated by two renegade angels trying to exploit a loophole and re-enter heaven. There you go.
This is Ryan.
And this is Ashley.
And this is Ruining Our Childhood, a nostalgic weekly podcast where a married couple rewatches and reviews our favorite 90s and 2000s movies to decide if they hold up to our adult standards.
That is what we do.
Booyah.
Good job. Good job
you.
there.
Thank you.
Still not used to it, but...
It's only the second week that we've had the new introduction.
That's true. Hi, guys. It's another episode of Ruining Our Childhood. And this week, we're doing the 1999 classic. And yeah, I had to look over at the screen because I couldn't remember. Dogma.
Yes.
Starring a lot of people.
Yeah.
This is a weekly poll winner, of course, because that's what we're doing, at least for the next 2 months. We're having like a gauntlet type situation.
Yeah. It's like a fight to the opposite of death. The last one standing will be the least popular movie.
Basically, yeah. It, of course, went up against Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. Mm-hmm. It was pretty close this week. Last week, with Three Ninjas and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it was a landslide.
Yes. On
the Facebook poll, it was very, very close, and I think Jay and Silent Bob won by a small margin. But on Twitter and Instagram, Dogma kind of took the lead a lot.
Yeah.
So, and if you guys have no clue what we're talking about our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter polls.
Yes.
On our social media, which you should go check out.
And you get to pick the movie we get to review.
And by you pick, I mean you get to vote, so.
Yeah.
And your vote matters.
Yes. Your vote always matters.
Yes. Whether it's a stupid podcast movie poll or, upcoming election.
Yes.
Which we don't talk about politics.
Nope.
So, do you want to hit us with some 1999 facts, and then we'll move on to some light housekeeping, I guess? I don't know.
I like how you called it light housekeeping.
Yeah.
This movie was released on November 12th of 1999. It had a budget of $10 million, and it grossed $44 million. I did notice and read that the Catholic Church ended up getting the movie's release delayed in a lot of countries.
Makes sense.
Because, they make fun of the Catholics. Some quick facts about 1999. Some of the popular TV shows were The Practice, Touched by an Angel, and Law and Order. Popular songs were Enrique Iglesias, Bailamos, TLC, Unpretty, and Mariah Carey featuring Jay-Z, Heartbreaker. And some other popular movies were The Mummy, Runaway Bride, and The Blair Witch Project.
Heartbreaker was such a great song.
Yeah.
Still is. So, first of all, I just wanted, before we get into the regular podcast stuff, I just want to say thank you to everybody that joined the Ruiners Club.
Yes. We
got quite a few joins, and we released our first episode on Friday, and it was Shaun of the Dead. And we just basically, it was like 30 minutes of us talking about how much we love it. And talking about why it was so hilarious. And I hope everybody enjoyed that episode. And look forward to doing more in the future of our Untouchables.
Yes.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, again, why aren't you joining the Ruiners Club? It's super simple. All you have to do is go to our website, hit join our fan club, put your email in, and bam. Member.
Always taking new members. We will never
not
decline an invitation.
Yeah. And it's free to join as of right now.
Yes.
So, and I'm not going to start charging people now. We're not in this for the money.
No. If you want to send us money, go for it.
For the lucrative podcasting money.
Yes.
If you want to send us money. I just processed what you said. Just send us some money.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
No. So what is your earliest memory from this movie?
My earliest memory, I believe I rented it or maybe bought it on VHS. I know I didn't see it in theaters. I remember there was a lot of talk about the movie
Right.
because of, the controversy of them making fun of Catholics. But also it was very talked about because it was Matt Damon and I believe Ben Affleck's first movie after Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, they really pushed them on the poster, I would say.
Well, that, and people expected them to go, they're going to go take on these huge Hollywood blockbuster roles, and they didn't. They went and did a movie for their friend.
Right.
Which tells you the type of people that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are.
Well, it was probably filmed before they were getting awards, too.
It's possible.
Yeah.
But yes, I remember all that stuff and wanting to see it, because I had seen Mallrats, and remember that, and so eventually I rented it or bought it. One of the two.
I definitely rented it. I remember watching it with my brother, and my whole I didn't really want to watch it until my brother said Ben Affleck was in it, because let me tell you something about 13, 14-year-old Ashley. She loved her some Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
I didn't have a big poster of him at the time. I just cut out pictures of him from like my Tiger Beat magazines. Teen People. Mm-hmm. I wanted him to be my first husband. Because I knew we were going to get divorced, because celebrity marriages don't last very long.
They do.
And I knew even at 13, I was realistic. So I was like, he'll be my first husband.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't have anything to add to this conversation.
I mean, he's a good looking man, but I did not want to marry him.
Well, then, he's had his issues since.
He has. I've always enjoyed his movies, though.
Yeah.
There's been a couple that, were crappy. I always thought it was real shitty when he became kind of a punchline.
Yeah.
In Hollywood. And
it's really easy to become a punchline.
Yeah, and he couldn't really get any work. So I was super happy for him when he won the Academy Award for Argo and got that redemption, which was nice. Because it was a guy who didn't deserve it by any stretch. People are just like, he's not talented, and he was dating Jennifer Lopez, so let's shit on him.
I don't know if the hatred was justified in any way.
No. I don't think it was at all. It's how we are.
Yeah.
We like to kick people when they're down.
We're fickle?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember, what he did wrong. Other than I remember there were stories about him being an alcoholic. There were stories, and I think he's admitted that he was an alcoholic.
Yes.
There were stories about him being into gambling and cheating on several women.
I do think he's banned from some hotels, if I'm correct.
Well, you're good looking. You won an Oscar really early in your career.
I don't think that had anything to be done. It was card counting, Ashley. They frown upon card counting.
No, I was just saying, you go through this, I'm going to just do whatever the fuck I want type thing.
I feel like he was very popular. He started dating Jennifer Lopez. He made a movie with her, which it seems like anytime a couple makes a movie, the reviewers don't like it immediately. How dare you date this person and make a movie? We have to shit on it. I never saw Geely or Jersey Girl for that matter.
She's only in 5 minutes of Jersey Girl. It's not that bad of a movie.
But they're so quick to shit on it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until he started making movies, people were like, oh, that guy is talented. Crazy, right?
Yeah. He just probably made some poor movie choices.
Yeah.
Is all. I don't know. I like him.
Same.
I've always been a fan.
Same.
And Matt Damon, when I was younger, I didn't think he was good looking because that's how I decided things. Until he went into the Bourne Identity, and then he was good looking. I didn't like his bowl cut. When they were first coming up, he had that bowl cut, and I just didn't think he was good looking. But now I think he's decent looking. Mm-hmm. Again, that's how I judge every celebrity. Are they pretty? Then they're worth something. No, I'm just kidding.
I thought for a while there, right after Good Will Hunting, Ben Affleck was going to have the better career because he did Armageddon, which was the huge blockbuster. But then Matt Damon comes, like you said, does the Bourne Identity, does the Oceans movies, and
I would say he's had more of a consistent career.
Absolutely.
But I don't think he has the draw that he once had. But I think it's because, I don't know, I guess it's harder to be a white guy in Hollywood.
It seems like actually I kind of felt he's heading back in the, going back up because he did The Martian and that was insanely successful.
That's true.
And
I like that movie.
yeah. Whereas Ben Affleck did Batman, and I think that was another one where people wanted to just shit on him.
Yeah.
Even though he was a perfectly good Batman.
I didn't mind him.
No, he was those Batman vs. Superman and the Justice League. He was one of the better parts of those movies.
I would say.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Definitely wasn't the worst part of the movies.
No, not by a long shot.
There's so many things wrong with those movies. What do you think? Do you think this movie is going to hold up?
I think it's going to hold up, but I do think there is going to be a lot of dated references and a lot of, what's dated reference and
offensive jokes.
Offensive jokes.
I was like, I think this movie was offensive when it came out. And it was,
yes.
Obviously, like you said, it was offensive to different religion sects, especially Catholics.
Yes.
From what I can remember, I think it was ahead of its time, making fun of religion. Because I think at the time, this was 21 years ago, we were still kind of a religious country.
Yes.
You're kind of almost like made to feel bad if you didn't go to church. And I think now it's almost the opposite, where, oh, you still go to church?
Yeah.
It's not in fashion, I guess.
And I think people that are very religious will tell you, well, that's a sign that the country's losing its morals.
Sure.
We're not very religious, but we also don't judge anybody who is.
No.
I was raised Catholic.
Right.
But I also can find humor and don't take anything too serious. They make jokes. It's a joke. It's meant to be funny. And if you don't think it's funny, that's fine, but you don't have to hate on the movie, or like in the Catholic Church's view, we need to prevent this from being seen. Really?
Yeah. That's my thing, is that if you can't find fault in something, then I think there's something wrong with it.
Yeah.
If you're saying that the Catholic Church is this perfect thing that's never done anything wrong, first of all, you're lying, because we know for sure that they've done a lot of shit wrong.
Yes.
But just at least admitting, like, yeah, there's things that need to change, or there are things that they did that is not right. And that doesn't make you less of a Catholic or a good person, but I always hate the people that are like almost like brainwashed into thinking like, I believe in this, or I'm a Catholic. I can't admit that they've done something wrong.
And that is a huge issue beyond religion, is people, without getting too political, they can't separate their political party and accept that, well, maybe this person's not right for my political party.
Right.
And they have done things wrong. Whether it have been, when we were growing up, Bill Clinton did some very questionable things.
Yeah.
He was a Democrat. You can still say, I don't agree with everything he did, regardless of the fact that I'm a Democrat. And now we have Donald Trump. You can still be a Republican and not agree with everything he does.
I think, honestly, Donald Trump is the first one where I feel like there's more people of his party saying, yeah, no.
Exactly. But it works on both sides. It was like, I don't want to get too politicized. I'm like, questionable Democrats, questionable Republicans. You don't have to agree with everything. You can be Catholic, you can be Jewish, you can be Christian. And maybe this movie isn't for you, but also you don't have to prevent it from being seen from the world.
Right.
It's just supposed to be entertainment and a comedy.
Watching this at like 13, 14, I think it made me understand some religions better, and it also made me question what I had been taught. And I didn't grow up in a very religious family. We were kind of religious, I feel like, when I was little, and then we kind of stopped going to church and stuff. But I don't know, it's interesting, and I do think this movie's gonna be filled with a lot of offensive jokes, but they were offensive at the time.
Yes.
And they're probably still going to be offensive. Maybe a couple things won't age well, but I do think the overall message of the movie, and it being a comedy and not taking itself too seriously, I think that will help make it hold up. So I say it will hold up.
Cool.
And we kind of got on a tangent. You said it did hold up.
Yes.
Okay, because I think you said it, and then we kind of went on this religion tangent, and
yeah, because I think there's just going to be too much.
Yeah.
That'll eventually hurt it. I still think it's going to be funny and entertaining. And
so you don't think it's going to hold up?
I don't think it's going to hold up.
So you weren't listening to me when I was like, you said it's going to hold up.
I thought you said it's not going to hold up. And for all I know, I'm going to listen back and go, no, I said it's going to hold up. So I'm taking a hard line stance, not going to hold up.
And I say it is going to hold up.
And you say it's going to hold up.
Okay.
There we go.
Usually this is the part of the podcast where I say, this is where you can stream it. But fun fact, I guess Dogma, you can't find it anywhere. It's kind of funny. I think a couple episodes ago we said, I think we're to the point where you can find it or at least rent it somewhere, like a movie everywhere. But this is one of the ones that it's kind of stuck in limbo because of some, what's the word? Rights, movie rights, or
Copyrights.
not copyrights, or whoever owns it. I found an article where Kevin Smith actually says in a tweet from August of last year that it was owned by the Weinstein Company and was licensed for Lionsgate and then Sony, but those deals predated streaming and have lapsed. So I guess they can't, I don't know. I guess the best way to explain it is it's in limbo.
Yeah.
But I swear to God, I saw it somewhere.
I thought I had saw it up on Amazon Prime a while ago, which is why I said to you, I go, well, I'm sure it's on Amazon Prime because they just put the Jay and Silent Bob reboot up.
That's true.
It would make sense that they have a partnership with Kevin Smith, which they might. But like you said, this movie, and talk about people with questionable morals, is owned by the Weinstein Company. So it's a bunch of legal mamba jamba. Lego. That we don't understand, and
Yeah, so...
But luckily we own it.
Yeah, we do own it.
So we can watch it.
Yeah. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Or do we just want to pause this, mother?
Hit that
Pause.
and go watch Dogma.
Okay, bye.
Okay, we just finished watching the movie, and now we're going to go ahead and break down Dogma, like we always do.
We always break down Dogma?
Like we always break down Dogma. And we're going to do it with our first category, Well, Hello There.
Well, hello there.
Where we talk about any cameos of famous or recognizable actors or actresses that we forgot were in the movie. Who did you notice?
First of all, I hope people aren't startled by that well, hello there sound we have now.
Yeah.
I feel like when I edited last week's episode, I don't know if we really pre-warned people like, hey, we decided we're going to add like theme music and theme sound effects to each category now. And I just hope somebody is not listening like, what the fuck was that?
Did Brian just double down on the well, hello there?
But then change his voice completely?
Yeah.
And sound like a serial killer a little bit?
Yeah, he did.
Anyway, back to well, hello there. The first person I notice is literally like one of the first people on screen is George Carlin.
Yeah.
Who's obviously a famous comedian. And he plays Cardinal Glick, who is trying to bring Catholicism to the masses. He's trying to market it to get people back into church, and he creates the buddy Jesus.
George Carlin was always interesting to me because I first was introduced to him as he was the conductor on Thomas the Train.
Yes, along with Ringo Starr.
But I've never seen the episodes with Ringo Starr. When I was a little kid, it was on, I think, Sundays before wrestling.
Yeah.
So I would always watch it. And it wasn't until I got a little bit older, I would say like a teenager, and I started catching, like, wait a minute, that guy's a comedian? And then I watched his comedy. And I went, holy crap, he's so, raunchy.
Yeah. And then he was on a kids show?
And he was on a kids show.
They literally, you have to think whoever created that was like, let's try to get the parents in on this too.
Exactly. And it's kind of almost in a way like how Bob Saget is.
Yes.
Bob Saget to a lot of people is Danny Tanner.
Who's this wholesome dad.
And he was a nerdy dad hosting America's Funniest Home Videos.
In a way.
Yeah. Turns out, really raunchy comedian.
Yes. Which there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just funny when you think of... I also feel like we were really obsessed with, especially like in the 90s and 80s, we were obsessed with like portraying sitcom families as being so perfect almost. And that's really annoying when you think about it, because I feel like we're now into this, going into 2020 where we're like, let's embrace people's flaws more.
Yeah.
Or let's have characters that are real shitbags. But you still find yourself rooting for them.
Yeah. It makes for more compelling television.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, it's not realistic to have a family that their problems are all solved by the end of the episode.
and then it's perfect 22 minutes of television.
Or it's like, somebody drink alcohol, and then they never drink alcohol again.
Yeah.
You're like, no, that's not how that works.
Oh, like, I agree. The flawed characters like Nancy Botwin on Weeds made for much better television than Danny Tanner ever did.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway,
we'll get back
to,
on topic.
Well, hello there. Yeah. Who was your first one that you noticed?
My first one was Linda Fiorentino. I don't know if I'm saying her last name correctly.
Fiorentino. That's how I would say it.
Yeah, she plays one of the main characters, Bethany, and I could not place her for the life of me. So I looked her up, and she was in the first Men in Black.
Yeah.
She was like the female lead in that. Definitely.
But she hasn't acted since 2009.
That I did see. I was
Which
like, it's
is weird because I feel like she was in 2 movies that were pretty popular in my world, at least.
For sure. Who was the next one you noticed?
Mine was Matt Damon. I guess we should say we already knew Matt Damon and Ben Affleck were in this movie. We talked about it earlier, so I just wanted to mention that they play the 2 renegade angels. I'm using air quotes. You can't see it because this is a podcast, Ashley. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck play Loki and Bartleby.
Yes.
Which are amazing names.
They really are. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I would say at this point, I had no clue who Loki was as far as the Marvel realm, because I had never read those comics.
Right.
So now looking back, I'm like, hey, his name's Loki.
Yeah.
And then ironically, Matt Damon plays Loki in Ragnarok.
He does. He plays him in the play.
Yeah.
That's a good connection there.
Yeah. I will say, Matt Damon, 3 of the greatest cameos in the history of cinema.
Yes.
Loki and doing the rap of Scotty Doesn't Know in Eurotrip.
I don't know if it was a rap. It's like a
song.
Emo punk song.
But he's in that.
Yes.
And then Interstellar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Interstellar. Sorry, I was just thinking of that stupid fucking lady when we went to go see Interstellar, and she just kept talking through the whole previews, which I don't know about you guys, but if you're a movie lover, you like watching the trailers. Mm-hmm. And nowadays it's kind of like you can just go on YouTube, look up trailers. But there was a time period where when you were seeing trailers in the movies, that was the first time you were even hearing about these movies.
Yeah.
So I like watching trailers. Mm-hmm. And this lady just kept on talking. And then she kept going, because sometimes the trailers do run a little long.
Yeah.
But she just kept going, bring on Interstellar. Like, she was yelling. Reason 25,100, I hate people. Because they ruin movies sometimes.
We have had some bad luck at movies.
Yes.
We had a little girl.
Almost hit me in the face.
That one. And then there was the one who was giving a step-by-step about 5 minutes ahead of what was going to happen during Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
And at that point, we hadn't read the books.
Correct.
So we had no clue.
Last year, I saw Top Gun with some buddies. They had done like a Tuesday night. They show the classics, and we went to go see Top Gun. And this guy would read. Anytime there was dialogue up on the screen, he would read it out loud.
Yeah. Like, I didn't go to that one, did I?
You did not.
No.
Our friend looked and he just like sighed and shook his head. And then
there was another, we were seeing a premiere of a movie, like a Thursday night premiere not that long ago. It might have been a Marvel movie or it was... I feel
like it was Guardians of the Galaxy.
It was Shazam.
Oh,
it was Shazam because the lady next to you was talking to the screen like it could talk back.
The whole fucking movie.
And even her boyfriend was like, shh.
Yes. Yes.
She had I felt like she had a New Jersey accent, but I don't know if she did.
Because I didn't shush her because I felt like she was going to be one of those people. If I was like, shh, she would have lost her shit on me. Been like, don't tell me to shush, and then make a big
I'm from
deal.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
No.
If I want to talk to the movie, I'll talk to the movie.
Anyway, Tangent City.
So Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are in this movie, guys.
Who is your next one? Because I named those 2.
You did those 2, so I'll take the other 2 that kind of go together. And that is Kevin Smith as Silent Bob. Obviously, Kevin Smith directed and wrote this movie, amongst other Jay and Silent Bob movies. The other one, Jason Mewes as Jay.
Yes.
And they are a package duo if there ever was one.
Yes. And they play the same people they always play. Mm-hmm.
Like they always do.
Like they always do. The other one that was kind of the beginning of the movie, and was like literally just a cameo, was Brian O'Halloran, who plays that reporter Grant Hicks.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the beginning of the movie. He's covering the church doing their whole event, and then at the end of the movie, he's like screaming for his life because, spoiler alert, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are on a murdering spree. And but he was in Clerks.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure a lot of other Kevin Smith things.
Okay.
It's like part of his crew, I would say. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I know there's some Kevin Smith fans that listen to this, and I don't.
Don't quote me on that.
Who was your next one?
My next one was Chris Rock making an appearance as Rufus.
Rupert?
Roofer. Rufio.
It's Rufus and Rupert.
Yes.
Rupert.
Rufus, the 13th apostle.
Yes.
You've heard of the 12.
Sure.
He's the 13th. And obviously Chris Rock, very famous comedian. He was on SNL, and at this point was probably right around the time he was at his peak, I would say.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He was probably a good get for Kevin Smith.
Yeah. Good get. The next one is Janine Garofalo does a little cameo.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually read a fun fact that, I don't know if I should say this early on.
Go for it.
That Kevin Smith actually said he wished he would have had her play Bethany.
Oh.
In the long run. Amongst other, I did read in the trivia for this movie that there was a lot of actresses that were going to play, or that he wanted, like Gillian Anderson. Who was some of the other ones? Shannon Doherty, maybe?
I could see that because she was in Mallrats.
Yeah, and then even, why can't I think of her name? Chasing Amy.
Oh, Joey Lauren Adams.
Yeah.
Okay.
But her and Kevin Smith were dating, and they just broke up.
Who was dating? Kevin Smith and who?
Joey Lauren Adams.
I never knew they dated.
Don't quote me on that. I was just reading trivia. I think they were.
Okay.
But anyway.
Honestly, I think Janine Garofalo would have been a better Bethany.
She is amazing.
Yes.
She's like my favorite part in Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion.
Romeo or Romy?
Romy and Michelle's. I said Romy and Michelle's.
I thought you said Romeo.
Romeo and Michelle.
Oh yeah, no, she was really good in that movie.
Yeah, but I've always liked her because she doesn't have to please anyone.
No, great dry sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is your next one? There's quite a few guys.
Yeah, my next one was Metatron. I don't know if I'm saying it proper.
I was waiting for you to say the actor's name.
Yes.
And you're like Metatron.
Metatron. The legendary Alan Rickman.
Yes.
It's crazy the range that man has as far as acting.
Yeah. If you think about it.
You go evil villain in Die Hard. He was in, we recently watched Sense and Sensibility.
Yes.
With Emma Thompson. Harry Potter. Love Actually. This, like that guy. And he can play, unfortunately, he could play everything.
Yeah. No, and I always loved him in this movie, and honestly, I think this might be the first thing I saw him in as a child, because...
Agreed.
I hadn't seen Die Hard. That I could remember. I might have. But it didn't resonate with me, because I was a young child.
It was probably pretty close.
Yeah.
This or Die Hard.
In this movie, he was one of my favorite parts when I was a kid, because he was so sarcastic, and we'll talk about a part later. As when we get down to the funniest and cringiest moments.
He was great.
My next one was Salma Hayek. Plays Serendipity, the muse.
Yes.
And she's Salma Hayek. I'm not going to list all of her things. She's in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Desperado was one of her first movies,
That's
I think.
Probably the first one I remember. And playing Frida Kahlo.
Yeah.
Big one. Yeah.
Who was your next one?
My next one was Jason Lee, who played Azrael.
He was higher up on my list. I love Jason Lee.
Yeah, Jason Lee as Azrael. He was on My Name is Earl, and Mallrats would be the big one that I knew him from, probably going into this.
I had a huge crush on him in this movie. It's that sarcasm, and he's kind of cute. You know? He's the bad guy.
Out of everyone in this movie, including Salma Hayek, 15-year-old me went, Jason Lee's the best looking one here.
Even out of Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, who were teenage heartthrobs.
Well, No, Jason Lee wins. No, I'm obviously totally joking, folks.
Yeah, no. Jeff Anderson, who's also from Clerks, plays a gun salesman as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I had one more that I didn't know if you knew. Fun fact.
I have one more, but I think you're gonna... It's not this one.
Okay, go ahead with yours then.
The last one I had was Alanis Morissette.
Oh, yeah.
As God.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, obviously, you knew who Alanis Morissette was, so...
Yeah. I was a big Alanis Morissette fan. I still think her music is great. They made it into a Broadway show.
I've never been a huge Alanis Morissette fan.
When I was in 6th grade is when Jagged Little Pill came out,
Mm-hmm.
and I literally had long, wavy hair.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought we were sisters.
Oh.
So, and she just got me.
I honestly wasn't much of a fan until I saw her on Weeds, and I really liked her on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a good actress.
Yeah.
A fun fact, that was somebody else they were considering to play Bethany, but she couldn't because she had a tour she had to go to, so they lessened her part, obviously. She's only in one scene.
Yeah.
But again, that's just trivia on IMDb. I can't say that word, guys. This is a thing. And
I love the fact that I've known you 15 years at least. And in that time, I've known you love movies. You love television. And when we're watching television, you're always looking up the people that are on TV because you're like, I recognize that person. And you'll look them up. And you always look them up on IMDb. But for some reason, whenever we're doing this podcast, you cannot remember that website.
No, this is a thing that's been happening since I found that website. Like when I was 13.
God.
I would always type in BD even. Yeah. And I'm like, no, it's database, not base data.
Not base data.
Oh my God. Anyway,
geez.
Fun fact. There's that shit demon.
Yes.
No Man. That's his name.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually voiced by Ethan Suplee.
From My Name is Earl?
Yeah. And sure. Also
Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World. And
Freddy.
He was in Santa Clarita Diet more recently.
Yeah.
And he's built like a...
He's in a lot better shape.
Yeah, no,
nowadays.
He looks amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, he was Frankie on...
Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I didn't know that. So that was my fun fact for the episode, guys.
I did not know that either. You just blew my mind.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Should we move on then?
Yes, we shall.
This next category is called Kids Would Call It a Throwback. We call it the prime of our teens.
Nailed it.
Where we talk about fashion, offensive jokes, dated references, and I didn't have a lot of fashion.
Me neither.
I don't know if it's because this movie is set in a small amount of time. It's only over
4
a
days,
day or two.
Yeah.
But nobody really changes their clothes.
Touche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those. So I didn't really have anything there. But I did have some offensive and dated references.
I was going to hit you with your boy Jason Lee, who you're like, I had a crush on. And I know why. Jason Lee stole his cream-colored leisure suit that he's wearing from John Cusack in Con Air.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, I'm like, oh, that's the same outfit, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, the fashion, it's t-shirts and hoodies and kind of stuff that's timeless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like we said in the beginning of the podcast, we knew this movie was going to have a lot of offensive jokes because it's supposed to be offensive.
Yes.
Like, that's what they're kind of going for at times. What was one of yours?
I noticed, and this was the definition of late 90s to me, is Bartleby was really concerned on why people thought he was gay.
Yeah.
And the other one was Jay, was the same thing. Like, I gotta go to the strip club to prove that I'm not gay.
There's a little bit of a homophobe.
Yeah.
But I will say it could have been a lot worse. They mention it a lot, but they also kind of make jokes about Jay possibly... And maybe explains why he is the way he is, because he overcompensates and he's got to talk about sex 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Sex with women.
Yes.
And maybe that's why. And that's kind of like the joke, which I think there's probably anybody could think of like a dude that they probably knew in their lives that was like seemed like they were overcompensating either by being extra homophobic or just being like, I like women's boobs a lot. They're great. I love what's the joke? Or was it on Brooklyn Nine-Nine when Holt pretends to be straight and I can't remember what he says, but it's the most
Yeah. He's like, I don't know if he just says like big breasts or something like that. But yeah, it's Andre Braugher, so you have to think of his bravado when he talks is very like a deep voice, and he's just like, I love big breasts. Ah.
Yeah.
God.
And it's just, but he doesn't say, he says something else where it's like no straight person would ever say it that way.
No, it's like succulent breast or some stuff like that. Yeah.
I love when they're really heavy. I can't remember what it was.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But, and exactly, he's a gay man trying to overcome, and you said everybody knows somebody like that. You go back to 1999, I knew 30 guys that were like this. They got to overcompensate. Not that they were all ended up being gay. And
no, but it's
gay.
That masculinity thing.
Like they were the ones like you could understand how something like that happened to Matthew Shepard could happen because people were so
threatened of their masculinity. Yeah,
you threatened my masculinity because you called me gay.
Or you hit on me, or whatever reason.
By no means that am I trying to justify what happened to Matthew Shepard, but I'm saying like at that time period, you knew so many people that were so threatened.
Good topic to bring up, Ryan.
Yeah, bring down the comedy podcast.
I don't know where to go from here. Yeah, just everything he said was pretty offensive too. If we can just go over the stuff, and even like when he first meets Bethany and he's just like, you're gonna have sex with us? Since we saved you, you're gonna have sex with us for a reward too. And just now, like post Me Too movement, like it was a little cringy to watch. Cause
very much.
Even though I think it's like in the back of my mind, like he doesn't, I know the character, he's not threatening. It's not like, because she said no to him several times.
Yes. And
it's not like he got angry like in real life, how some women are afraid men are going to get angry if you say no. But it's still kind of shitty, and that's completely outdated.
For sure.
But I will say, when he said that, the reward thing, like 2 seconds later, he's talking about how he's pro-choice and he doesn't care what women do with their bodies. Yeah. But then he tripled down and says that he goes to abortion clinics because he figures the women are slutty and more likely to sleep with him.
like he triples down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a roller coaster with him. It's like
it really
one time I'm like, okay, that wasn't so bad, or that was actually pretty profound, and then it was like, whoa, man.
Yeah.
What was your next one?
Back to Jay and Silent Bob, they say the reason they're in Illinois is they want to go to Sherman, Illinois, because they watched all these John Hughes movies, and they reference, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, and they're like, they're all hot girls. Turns out it's a made-up place.
Did not do their research.
They did not.
Yeah, that was a good reference. When Rufus falls from the sky... Yes. They're like, maybe it's like Con Air and they wrote something on his body. Did you see that film? And if you didn't know, we did a Con Air episode. You should totally check it out because it's a good one.
It is a good one. Which is awesome that was a movie they referenced. It was like, hey, that's one we totally already did on our podcast.
Yeah.
The next one for me was also right around the time Rufus shows up. He does call Jay Cato.
Yeah. I caught that. He does have glorious blonde hair.
Yes, he does.
And
old Cato.
That's about it.
Yeah.
One of the triplets, the demon triplets, if you will, was wearing a Hellboy sweatshirt, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Obviously pre-movie, but comic books were the thing.
And you can walk into any shop now and buy a comic book t-shirt or a superhero t-shirt. Back
That's
then,
true.
you weren't doing that.
It was a little harder to find.
Yeah. I did catch that. Like, there's a guy rocking a Hellboy shirt.
And it kind of fits with the fact that they're demons, I guess. There was another word for them, and I can't remember what it was. But Azrael, who was played by Jason Lee, referenced them as the triplets.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. They were like his...
little minions, I guess.
Yeah, little minions. His goons.
But not like minions, like Despicable Me.
They did not look like Twinkies with one eye.
Did you have anything else?
Yeah, the last one that I had was Bethany, kind of going back to the homophobia that kind of runs rampant in the movie a little bit, was she referenced Don't Ask, Don't Tell, because Bartleby talked about how him and Loki were stationed together. And she took it as that was a military reference, and she was like, oh, that's so brave. Yeah,
lovers.
Don't ask, don't tell. And yeah, he was confused, and that's right away. He was like, why? He is very concerned as to why anyone would think he was gay.
But I think he asked genuinely, like...
Yeah, he didn't
They're
get
angels,
angry.
so sex is not a thing for them.
No, they don't have genitals.
I don't even think they have genders in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, they do, because they look like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and Alan Rickman, but I think he was genuinely asking, whereas, like, you could have made it different, like, I'm not fucking gay.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree.
Yeah, but I get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's brought up a lot.
Yes.
I guess the only other reference I have is when Azrael is literally villain monologuing, and I was writing that down. I'm like, he is villain monologuing, and then he says, I have seen way too many Bond movies to give you all the details of my plan.
Yes.
And I was like, good one.
Good one. Well done, sir.
Did you have anything else?
I did not. That's it.
Okay.
We're going to go ahead and hit up that sweet tone that we use.
Did you not have a joke for this?
I don't.
I honestly did not really find any technology other than there was a large TV at the bar at the very end of the movie when Azrael's telling them his plan.
Yes.
That's it.
I caught that, and Bethany had a corded telephone in her bedroom.
Okay.
And it was just hanging out in the background.
It aids this movie.
Yeah.
Overall.
Very much so.
The lack of technology, though, there was times that I was like, you could look that up on the internet. Oh, wait, no.
Yeah.
I mean, the internet was a thing, but it wasn't, like, widely available.
No, we didn't have smartphones in 1999.
I mean, I guess if you want to get specific, at the very beginning of the movie, and the reason Bartleby and Loki go on their journey to New Jersey to go to the church is because somebody sent them a newspaper clipping in the mail. So that is a very dated thing to think about.
Yeah. Nowadays, you would see it scrolling through Facebook or Twitter. Screenshot it, send it right over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's all I have.
I guess the only other thing I put in this category is the CGI at the very end when Bartleby, Ben Affleck's character, is flying and dropping bodies down on the ground. But the CGI wasn't great.
It wasn't great, but it also was not awful. It didn't look so terrible where you're like, oh my God. Like some of the CGI you would see in an early 90s movie.
Yeah.
Because also you take into consideration what the budget was for this movie. It's not a huge budget. They didn't have a $200 million budget where they could add in all this amazing CGI. It was not terrible by any stretch.
I thought it aided in them that they made him really small in the sky. Instead of trying to make it really detailed. So,
agreed.
It still was noticeable.
Yeah. But yeah, the fact that he's very tiny and way up there, that definitely helped things.
Did you have anything else?
I did not.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to, is it even good? The category where we talk about the plot holes. And the funniest and cringiest moments of the movie. I know what you're going to say about the plot. Is it believable that angels hang out around Wisconsin?
Probably not.
I just like that you consider it. Like, you look at it through the scope of, like, is it realistic?
Could this happen? Probably not. When you take into consideration, if we did live in a world where angels walk amongst us, you have two angels that want to go to New Jersey so they can walk into a church to prove God wrong and also end all of creation.
Right.
Oh, that's dark.
To be fair, I don't think they realized the consequences until later. And when they realized it, one of them kind of was like, maybe we shouldn't do it. And the other one was like, fuck it.
Yeah, Loki was not about that life, but Bartleby's PO'd about getting demoted and sent to fucking Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Shout out to any of the listeners that live in Wisconsin. Obviously, angels aren't amongst us, but it wasn't the craziest plot.
No.
That's true. I don't. I do apologize if someone is an angel and they're listening.
Our number one listener is an angel. You just offended her.
Why has it got to be a her?
I don't know.
Could
Why
be a
does
him.
it got to be a him is the better question.
Hashtag me too.
That's not what hashtag me too is about.
Hashtag feminism.
There you go.
There you go.
I love you. I don't know. I don't know what I was going to say. Did you have any plot holes that you wanted to talk about?
I really did not.
I agree.
You know, I'm watching it and I'm going, okay, this is all adding up
Yeah.
to me.
The only plot hole I had, I guess in a way it was a small one and it could be perceived whatever way you want, but throughout the movie, there's jokes about what God looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all people that have met God.
Yes.
Chris Rock's character, Rufus,
Mm-hmm.
Serendipity, the angels, they make reference, like Rufus says that God is black, Serendipity says it's a woman. They can't come to an agreement. And then when you see God, she's a white lady.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just, wouldn't they definitely know, or are they just fucking with Bethany?
I thought there was an implication that God...
Is whoever you want it to be?
Well, no, she has to take on a human form to come down to Earth, and she came down to Earth to play skee-ball. And she took on this incarnation to do that. So there was maybe the version that Chris Rock met was possibly a black man.
But he met him in heaven, so she doesn't have to
That's true.
take on a form in heaven.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I felt like they made it seem like Alanis Morissette was her true form. Or am I mistaken? And it's not, it's just a form that she took. Because obviously in the beginning of the movie, she took on the form as an old man.
Yeah.
When she was playing skee ball. But that's what I'm confused about. Because then they make reference to like, Selma Hayek's like, see, she is a woman.
Mm-hmm.
But then Chris Rock's like, well, I mean, she is whatever she is.
And Chris Rock recognized her.
That's true. Yeah.
Like when they see her, they tell like Jay, like, bow down, you idiot.
Yeah.
Like,
so I don't know if it's like they were just like fucking with them. Obviously humans don't know what God looks like at all.
yeah.
I don't know. That was my only plot hole.
Yeah.
And it's a movie that does whatever it does well.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's not like they say one thing and then they do something else, which is what some movies do. You know, they're like, this is concrete, this is canon.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, at the end of the movie, we're going to change it, you know.
Shout out to J.K. Rowling on the list.
We're not going to go down that road
Crimes
again.
of Grindelwald.
What was your funniest line or moment?
Right off the bat, before any line is read in this movie, it got me chuckling. Kevin Smith had put in a disclaimer, like, don't take this too serious. This is a comedy. And then he put, you need to remember God had a sense of humor. Look at the platypus. And then he took it a step further to apologize to the platypuses and anybody that likes them, because he was like, that was mean to make fun of them too.
Yeah.
And like I said, the Catholics were not a fan of this movie. I am a Catholic, and I had no problem with it, because at the end of the day, it's comedy, and it's just there to make you laugh.
I read a trivia thing that said the diocese, is that a thing?
Yes.
I'm just making up words here.
Nope.
The one guy that was really pushing for this movie not to come out in the Catholic Church said eventually, after a couple months, try to get in touch with Kevin Smith and his team so he could view the movie, so he could have an educated opinion on the movie. And then Kevin Smith's like, well, what was it before?
Yeah.
You were just basically hating on something because you just assume it's one thing.
They had fake outrage for something they hadn't even seen.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. There's probably people that were offended by it after they saw it.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
I don't know, it's funny that it had so much outrage.
It's the idea of like when people scroll through social media, they like and dislike stuff off of a headline.
Yeah.
And don't always actually go for read the article and see what's actually happening.
Yeah, because half those articles are clickbait. So sometimes it's like, Ryan Reynolds killed a puppy.
Yep.
With love.
Exactly. You click on
he
the
adopted
article.
10 puppies.
And it's him holding 17 corgis, and it's just a beautiful picture.
Yes.
Yeah. What was your funniest moment?
There was quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just something that Loki said at the beginning when they're talking about their plan to get back into heaven, and Loki's like, I wish I had a penis so I could have sex. He's like, but I guess we can do the next best thing. Let's kill people. And then the lady in the elevator was drinking something and she did a spit take, and he's like, well, no, not you. And it was just the way he said it. It was really funny.
Perfectly nonchalant sarcasm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Huge fan.
The other one I will say I had like a runners up was when Silent Bob and Jay, that was weird to say, Jay and Silent Bob and Bethany were in the train and they figure out that Loki and Bartleby are who they're supposed to be stopping, and they get into a fight, and then Bob kicks both of them out of the train, or throws them out of the train, and there's just some random guy like in the corner like scared because he just witnessed a huge fight, and he's like, no ticket. It was just hilarious.
Because also it's Silent Bob saying it.
And he doesn't say a lot of words.
No, he does not.
Yeah. Did you have any other ones you wanted to talk about?
I thought it was really funny where Jay and Silent Bob were driving Bethany, and they're not good drivers, so he has I don't know anything about stick shifts, but it's probably like first gear, and he's going 100 miles an hour and fries the engine. So they, break down, and they're on the side of the road, and Bethany gets mad, and Jay's like, guys like us don't just fall out of the sky. Cue Rufus falling out of the sky, like Con Air style, splat on the ground. And Jay then immediately is like, beautiful big-titted women don't just fall out of the sky. And he immediately looks up and is like, no.
Didn't work.
That one got me.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I had a couple, but the scene where Bartleby and Loki are talking to the movie board of directors, I guess, and he's listing all of the things that Mubi has done. It's a huge corporation. He's like, did I forget anything? And the CEO's like, yeah, Mubi magazine. He's like, damn it.
He's so mad at himself.
Yeah.
And then you just look over and Bartleby's like, I knew he was going to forget the magazine.
Oh, it was Loki.
That was Loki.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to fucking forget the magazine.
Yeah. Do you want to move on to our cringiest?
Yes.
What was yours?
You mentioned earlier No Man coming out of the toilet.
Yeah.
I was never really that grossed out by poop humor, but because of my job, we have to inspect buildings.
Yeah.
And make sure they're ADA compliant. And I was in a bathroom one time, and the toilet started backing up. I didn't see it.
It was a shit demon?
It was the smell.
Oh.
And so when I saw this scene, I could smell that scene. And I was like, oh my God. Like I ran out of that building. I could just smell it through the TV. So yeah, the shit demon and the whole, I was like, no, thank you.
It's, I don't know. But
gross.
Mine was just, and it's something when I was a kid, it's something you can't unsee. But when Metatron pulls down his pants to show Bethany that he is a Ken doll down there, obviously it's fake, and it's so weird looking.
Yeah.
It's something you can't unsee, and I knew the part was coming, and I almost wanted to close my eyes. It took me 21 years to forget that scene. It was funny, but... Yeah. It's definitely something you can't unsee.
No, you can't unsee that at all. And the best part is that it's Alan Rickman, folks.
Just pulling down his pants.
Yeah.
Also, don't pull your pants down in front of a woman, even if you're an angel that doesn't have a penis. We still don't want to see that.
Yeah. She'll take your word for it.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite scenes when I was a kid, and now rewatching it, realizing how dark it is the board of directors, the movie. Just everything he's listing that these people have done.
The worst one is the guy that paid the mailroom guy to sleep with his...
That's not the worst one. There was like child molestation.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one. But him paying the mailroom guy to sleep with his girlfriend just so she would feel bad about it and break up with him.
Yeah.
And then she committed suicide.
Yeah, that one was dark.
Him going around that table, you're like, fuck, that's dark.
Yeah. But I always remember that scene because it was dark, but it was funny. Like, Matt Damon's part was really funny, and Ben Affleck's part where he forgets the magazine and gets all angry is funny. So, Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
Bethany does some running, and she is a graduate, or maybe she was the original, and Brie Larson was the graduate of the Bethany School of Running, because it was some real bad running.
Yeah, it's in the forest. She finds out she's a ancestor, or not the word. Jesus is her ancestor.
Yeah.
It was pretty interesting, is all I have to say. Another part that made me chuckle was, because I do feel like this movie did make me laugh quite a bit still, was just something really stupid when Azrael shoots the bartender and says, "Holy bartender." And that joke is just silly. But it was funny because like a minute later, Jay's like, "Holy bartender." Like it takes him a second to realize it.
It's like, oh, I just got that. The only other thing that I had was when they are, the Cardinal Glick is standing outside the church, and he's got all the people outside because he's going to rededicate this church. And Bartleby and Loki show up. A cop tries to stop him.
Yeah.
And Bartleby snaps the guy's neck. And I'm thinking, only in movies have I ever seen that happen. Like, where a guy gets the head and they make the noise.
Yeah.
And a guy dies.
This one's extra special because he just does it with one hand.
Yeah.
Because he is an angel. I mean,
like literally a flick of a wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was just thinking, I'm like, that's only in movies.
I don't want to find out in real life if that's the thing.
Touche. Touche. I'm pretty sure like Brock Lesnar could snap my neck if he had to, but
if he had to.
I would never give him a reason to.
You're a dork.
No.
I think that's all I had. If you want to move on to the amazing, the prestigious
awards season. We give out 2 awards every week. First of which, the valedictorian to the Nicolas Cage Online School of Bad Acting. Whom did you give your award to?
I really thought this movie had a strong cast.
Yes.
I don't know if I could say somebody was really bad, but I will say an almost forgetful part just happens to be the main character played by Linda
Fiorentino.
Fiorentino.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot how to say her name. I don't even know if that's right. I just felt like she was kind of not there.
Yeah.
Like, there's parts where she was good, but I almost felt like she didn't want to be there. And it's kind of funny because I started writing that down. And then I looked at the trivia later and saw that, like, Kevin Smith had a hard time with her, that she was kind of a difficult person. And it's kind of hard to say that now because I think in this time of literally Me Too, and especially Harvey Weinstein, who produced this movie and shit, or I don't know if he produced it, but his company.
Executive producer.
Yeah.
Funded it, basically.
That it's hard to say, like, when people list people as difficult actors, if they actually were difficult, or if they were just like, she didn't want to blow me in the trailer. I don't know. I'm not saying Kevin Smith is that way. That's not at all.
No, I agree.
But it's not just him that's saying that, so...
Think about in the sense of Kevin Smith worked with a person that is historically known as being extremely difficult to work with in Shannon Doherty, and liked her.
Yeah.
And wanted her to be in this movie.
Again, another person that maybe got a bad rap because they were a little more, like, voiceful, like, I'm not going to do that, I'm sorry. Like, it was so easy for media to portray, especially female actors, as one way if they were difficult because they were like, yeah, I don't want to take off my bra in this scene. There's no point to it. And it was like, oh, you're difficult, you know? Yeah. I don't know if that's the case in this one. I just know that she was a difficult person to work with. So I can kind of feel like I see it through her acting a little bit. And I just felt like she could have been replaced by anybody.
Touche.
I didn't feel like her character had a lot of substance. Whereas there was a lot of other characters in this that were more of a standout or they were funny.
No, I could see that because I only know her from one other thing, which was Men in Black. And it felt like in Men in Black, she is very much this don't give a shit talk. She's very dry.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe that's just her style.
Yeah.
But I also get what you're saying. For the person that is essentially the lead in this movie, she's very forgettable.
And her running really just sold it for me.
The running.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Who was yours?
I gave it to the one thing that I felt made this movie not hold up, and that's Jason Mewes.
Oh, poor Jason Mewes.
Yeah. And it was like you said, it's hard to pick someone because the acting wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And Jason Mewes is everything you wanted from Jay. He's just homophobic, obnoxious.
His character's outdated.
His character is a 90s cliche. Like, he did call God a broad and a bitch, referring to Alanis Morissette.
Right.
And he's just trying to get laid. And like you said, it's Jay, but he's the one thing that I felt dated the movie.
Yeah. I will say the one redeeming thing about his character and just how he is portrayed in any of the movies that he's played Jay is that there's always somebody going like, well, you're an idiot. And it's not like people are applauding him for being the way he is, or they're saying like, it's cool.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you that he's the number one aspect that dates the movie.
Yes.
In accordance with the world we live in today. Should we move on?
We shall.
The next award is the Thomas J. Hanks Award for Exceptional Acting. Who did you give it to?
I gave mine to Metatron.
I would have paid money and bet that you would have picked Alan Rickman.
Really?
Yes.
I went back and forth between him and Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck still was a little shaky, I feel like, at this time with his acting. Whereas Alan Rickman, he's only in a few scenes, and he's just delightful. And you kind of hit me with a piece of trivia, which was Kevin Smith told Jason Mewes to like be on his best behavior because Alan Rickman was on set. And here's this very respected, classically trained actor. And you're Jason Mewes.
Yeah.
So you need to be on your best behavior.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, he's delightful.
So we have some different awards in our minisodes that we just started for our Ruiners Club, which you should join. Anyway. And one of them is we have a scene stealing award,
yes.
like a secondary actor, supporting actor award. I said secondary instead of supporting. And I definitely would have put him in that award myself because he's only in a couple scenes, but he does steal them and he's so funny.
He's, just great.
Did you want to talk more about him?
No. He's Hans Gruber, ladies and gentlemen. We love him.
Mine was Matt Damon. I just felt like he had a lot of funny lines and he was just so matter of fact with what he was saying. And I loved like the beginning when he's basically talking a nun out of making her life choices.
Yeah.
And he's like, buy a nice dress.
When he's drunk outside the church.
Yeah.
He's just delightful.
My favorite thing he does is after he murders all of the board.
Yes.
He's not going to murder the one woman that's on the board because she actually isn't innocent. And he pulls his gun. And he's like, but you didn't say God bless you when I sneeze. Because he sneezed before when they were still kind of monologuing. He sneezed and he waited and nobody said anything.
That was going to be her downfall.
Yeah, but then Bartleby it's like, come on.
Yeah.
You're not going to murder her because she didn't say God bless you.
Yeah, he was really good in this.
He was really dramatic. And I did feel like he had character growth because he started out being kind of the one that was like, yeah, let's kill a bunch of people. But then Loki ended up being completely insane. Bartleby, sorry.
Yes.
Confused. Ben Affleck.
Yeah. In most cases, when you say Loki ended up being totally insane, you're not wrong.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, and when he takes the hit of the pot, the fake hit, because they can't get drunk, they can't do anything, so he just does it under the table, but just the way he does it. And then he
gives it back to him.
And then he does the banging on the table just like Jay did. And, that's good.
He was very, very good in this.
But yeah, he was definitely one of my favorite parts. Oh, and then a fun fact on that one too is that the role of Loki was actually written for Jason Lee, but he had scheduling conflicts, so then Matt Damon got it.
Oh, wow. It worked out well in the sense that you have these two guys who we all know are best friends. They wrote a screenplay together. They end up being these two angels on Earth trying to get, into heaven.
I can definitely see Jason Lee playing him the way he delivered things. It's definitely a more Jason Lee type role, so I can definitely see it.
You're just slapping us with the trivia this week. I love it.
I'm trying to be a little more informative, Yeah. Give the people what they want. They want to learn things. No?
Agreed.
You don't want to learn things? Also, I guess Emma Thompson was supposed to be God at one point.
Oh, really?
And so that would have made the 18th movie that her and Alan Rickman were in together.
I love Emma Thompson. She would have been great as this. Yeah. What do you think? Do you think it held up to your adult standards?
I think overall it did. Besides what we talked about, the data references, mostly with Jay's character and being a little problematic, to say the least. I do think that a lot of the writing was pretty smart and interesting and actually really informative. Like I said, I learned a lot of stuff about
Catholicism.
Yeah. It's really funny and it makes fun of religion, but not in the way I think people think it would.
I think Catholics who are uneducated about this movie and had not seen it, they go, it's a movie that craps on our beliefs. And that's not the case. That's not what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's not telling you you're wrong for your beliefs. None of that.
He's saying there is a God.
He's there's a God.
Saying that there are angels.
Yeah. And it was just a funny movie.
Yeah.
I was surprised at, like I said, the only thing I felt that kind of dates the movie is the Jay character.
Yeah.
But like you said, we all knew someone like him. So I think without a doubt, it really does hold up well. There's not a lot of technology that dates the movie. The clothes aren't dated. It's just a little bit of a guy who's afraid his masculinity is being attacked. You take that guy out of this movie, it's a really good movie. It's really funny. Kevin Smith pushes the subject a little bit on religion, and people couldn't handle it.
Not 21 years ago, apparently.
But you know what? I did see it had a very high Rotten Tomatoes score. It got good reviews.
Yeah.
You know,
it was a well-done movie.
It's a well-done movie.
It's still well done.
It's a comedy. It's there to make you laugh. And
yeah.
if you can put your religion aside, you're going to laugh.
Yeah, for sure. So that's another episode, guys. Don't forget to check out our Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. On Wednesdays especially, we have the movie polls that we're doing for the next 2 months. Till the end
6 weeks
June.
at least, yeah.
Yeah, that we have scheduled. We might continue them.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know what we're doing. But we are doing... You don't remember, do you?
Figure Friday?
No, I was going to say what the poll is.
I do not remember which ones are up there.
So next week polls...
Next week poll.
Next week's poll is brought to you by Vince Vaughn.
Ooh.
It's Wedding Crashers against Dodgeball.
Ooh, those were some good comedies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some of the better comedies of the mid-2000s.
I would say so.
And I haven't seen Wedding Crashers probably since 2008.
That's probably it for me. I haven't watched it without you, I would assume, in that time period.
Yeah.
But
I don't think we saw it together. I think I saw it with somebody else.
No, I didn't see it. I don't think I saw it with you either.
Yeah.
But it's a good comedy. And Dodgeball.
Yeah.
Such a good movie.
So those are going to be, like I said, again, Wednesday. It's going to be up. And don't be afraid to vote. And don't be afraid to vote on all of our social media channels.
All you have to do, click the picture. You don't even need to put in the comments which one you want. You can just click right on the picture, and that'll be your vote. Yeah.
And a listener of the pod, Paul, mentioned on this one that he, was just going to vote for whoever lost on the next one. But I think...
Whenever we get the loser poll up, I was like, the other one's going to win, folks.
I was like, that's a great idea, because eventually we're going to get through all these movies. I mean, there's going to be a loser. Like you said earlier, there's going to be an ultimate loser. But
that the movie will be reviewed by default.
Yeah.
Because it lost all of them. And I hate to say it, it looks like it's going to be 3 ninjas.
Aw, 3 ninjas. But we'll see. You don't know. We've got 2 more weeks of brand new movies.
And definitely get out there and check out our website and join the Ruiners Club, because you get that free bonus-ode.
Bonus-ode. Plus, we're going to have some polls and a little e-gift I'm making right now.
Oh, yes.
I won't say what it is.
I'm excited for it.
But go to ruiningourchildhood.com, guys.
Check it out.
Yeah. Are we done with this?
I think we're done.
Is this the end?
This is how we wrap it up.
This is the end. Oh, we're going to say, what are you excited about this week?
Ooh, I am excited for the community reunion table read.
Yes.
They got everyone minus Chevy Chase, but the episode they're doing, he's not in. They got everybody, including Donald Glover, to come back.
Yes, which is a big get.
And if you follow Joe McHale and Ken Jeong, they started a podcast about 2 months ago, and they put up a special episode, and it was recorded right after the table read, and it's Dan Harmon and the cast of Community having a video chat, and it was everything you would want.
Yes, if you're Community fans, yes. It was like watching a phone call of Friends.
Yeah.
And I felt like a creep sometimes, because they talked about some inside jokes. And
I was always worried. The whole Community mantra of 6 seasons in a movie was they're going to do a movie and Donald Glover won't be in it, because Donald Glover is extremely famous.
Yes.
And I think if you watch that Zoom call and probably the table read, you'll see that Donald Glover would make it work.
Yeah.
Like he's definitely going to be in that if they make that movie, which I think they will.
I think it's a definite possibility. If you had told me a year ago or asked me a year ago if it was, I would say probably not, but I think...
Nice resurgence due to being on Netflix.
Yeah. And maybe coronavirus helped that, because...
Probably. We all got free time on our hands.
Yeah, but...
What are you looking forward to?
That? For sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. Got to paint our living room.
Hoping things continue getting back to normal.
Yeah. We did redo our pod office / Ryan's office that he's working in right now. And it looks pretty nice.
It really does.
Yeah. So I know you guys were worried or wondering about that. Anyway, let's call this a day because we're going up to an hour and a half.
Oh, good God. Thank you for listening, guys. We will see. You'll hear us next week.
Yes.
Bye.
We'll be here. Okay. Bye.
Bye.